The night has fallen. Welcome to the world of EduTales for Kids. Tonight's story is about a cute little bear who loves to nap a little too much. Let's cozy up and find out what happens. In a peaceful, sunlit forest, there was a cozy little village called Honey Hill, where the sweetest and fluffiest bears lived happily together. Even though it was tucked deep in the woods, Honey Hill was always filled with laughter, songs, and the delicious scent of golden honey. The bears weren't just known for their chubby cuteness, they were also incredibly hardworking. Every morning, as sunlight peeked through the trees, the whole bear village was already up, picking berries, fishing in the stream, and searching for honeycombs, all to prepare for the long winter sleep. Each bear had their own honey jar and a little corner in their den. They needed to store lots of energy to sleep safely through the cold months. Some bears had a special nose. Just a few sniffs, and they could find the ripest fruits or the fullest honeycombs. Everyone worked hard. Well, everyone except one little bear named Coco. Coco wasn't a bad bear. In fact, she was sweet, always smiling, and well loved by everyone. But Coco was very lazy. She loved to lie around, hum little tunes, and most of all, she loved to sleep. While the others were out early, Coco was still curled up in her soft, leafy bed, snuggled under a blanket of wildflowers, fast asleep like she was already hibernating. "Coco, wake up! There's a brand new honeycomb today," her friends called. But Coco just buried her face in the blanket and mumbled, "Just 5 more minutes. Just 5. But 5 minutes turned into 10. 10 turned into the whole morning. And just like that, another day passed with Coco doing nothing but lying around and yawning. Coco secretly thought, "There are so many bears in the village. Even if I don't work, there will still be enough honey." Day after day, Coco didn't pick berries, didn't search for honey, didn't clean her den. She just swung lazily on tree branches, watched the clouds, and daydreamed. She often sang, "Honey Hill is such a treat. Don't need to work to get to eat," and giggled to herself. But one day, Grandma Bear, the wise village elder, came to check everyone's honey jars, making sure they were ready for the long winter sleep. Each jar was placed neatly, all filled to the brim with golden honey. But when she got to Coco's jar, it was empty. Grandma Bear looked at Coco and spoke gently, yet firmly, "Coco, you haven't stored anything at all. When hibernation begins, if your body doesn't have enough energy, you won't be able to sleep deeply and safely." Coco just shrugged and smiled. "It's okay. I still have all summer. I'll get to it." Grandma Bear didn't say anything more. She simply nodded and walked away. But the other bears began to whisper, "She's just depending on everyone else. If she doesn't prepare now, she'll be in trouble when winter comes." As for Coco, she just gave a big yawn and lay back down like nothing had happened. And then, winter crept closer. The air turned cold. Yellow leaves fell everywhere, and forest fruits became harder to find. The sun set earlier, and the village bustled with preparations to retreat into their dens. The other bears had full jars of honey, round bellies, and warm fur, ready for their deep winter slumber. But Coco, her jar was still empty. Her stomach growled, her fur was scruffy, and she hadn't stored enough fat to hibernate safely. In a panic, Coco ran to her friends and whispered, "Can I please have just a little honey? Just a little bit." But everyone shook their heads sadly. "Sorry, Coco. We only have enough for ourselves. We've been preparing for months." Coco was stunned. She curled up in a cold corner of her den, her stomach rumbling. But what hurt more than hunger was regret. She thought of all those golden mornings, her friends' cheerful calls, Grandma Bear's reminders, and she glanced at the honey jars she hadn't helped fill at all. Now Coco understood. Being lazy only leads to trouble in the end. As she began to drift off from exhaustion, Grandma Bear quietly stepped in. In her paw was a small honey jar, the village's final emergency supply. She placed the jar beside Coco and softly said, "This is emergency honey. It's just enough to give you a little strength and let you rest for a short while. But remember, spring will come again, and next time you must be ready." Coco looked at the jar, eyes welling with tears. For the first time, she treasured every single drop of honey. Winter passed slowly, but then the first sunlight peeked through the trees. Spring had arrived. Snow melted, flowers bloomed, and bees buzzed once more through the forest. That morning, the very first bear to wake up was Coco. No one called her. She woke up on her own, stretched with a smile, and hurried out of the den to find the first flower of the new season. Coco wasn't the fastest or the strongest bear, but now she worked hard every day, bringing back berries and drops of honey to the once empty jar. From that day on, Coco never slept in again. She wasn't the most hardworking bear or the most skilled, but she showed up every single day. Because now, Coco understood, working hard is a gift I can give to myself. That night, in her warm den, Coco looked at her honey jar, slowly filling up. She smiled and whispered, "This time, I'm ready." And then, Coco drifted off to sleep, dreaming of sunny days and sweet golden honey, where a little bear had learned to love herself through her own effort and care.